Hello, welcome back to IT Landy Nugget courses. This is session 3 of PKI. We're still under the system architecture. We covered a few topics earlier. For today, we're going to cover the Authority Information Access, or AIA. What is it? The AIA extension is a pointer to a CA most current published CA certificate. The AIA extension helps client computer to dynamically find the certificate when they need them, and usually during certificate chain building up. AIA extensions are checked in order, and typically there are three locations types that can be configured: HTTP, UNC, and the LDAP. Remember these three. Now table, I need the URL for the root, issuing CA, and as we said earlier, the LDAP or the HTTP itself. Next is the certificate revocation or revocation or revoking the certificate. This is really crucial when it comes to revoking a certificate. Every certificate has a defined validity period, after which the cert will no longer be valid. In some cases, it may be necessary to validate the certificate prior to end of their validity period. This is known as the revocation. Revocation information can be made available by the use of the certificate revocation list, which are files that are periodically published and digitally signed by the CA. So the period for publishing will be tied to the certificate lifetime. The CRL contains a list of certificate serial numbers that have been revoked. Client computer download and check the CRL to determine the validity of the certificate. Large CRL can be mitigated by using delta CRL, only the changes, yeah? Delta CRLs are issued between publication of the full CRLs and contain only the certificate that have been revoked since the last publication. This is really crucial when it comes to design your CA and the certificate revocation. Next, what else do we need? The CRL publication interval is determined by the consideration of the certificate trust itself, and the frequency and the impact on the download. A more frequent CRL publication should allow for faster recognition of the certificate revocation information. Another parameter that affects the validity period of the CRL is the overlap period. The overlap period is time interval between the next schedule publication and the actual expiration of the CRL. The overlap period needs to take into the consideration the failure of the CA to give enough time to issue new one. The figure below show the relationship between the CRL publication interval and the overlap period. A publication interval of 5 days B and the overlap period 3 days give a total validity period of 8 days. Again, similar to the previous one, create a table, cover for us the publication interval, the CRL overlap period, and then the CRL delta publication interval, and then the overlap period. These are the four information you need to decide when it comes to the design itself. Next is the distribution point. Certificate revocation information need to be available to any client, any computer, yeah, if they need to use the CA. To meet this requirement, we have something called distribution point or CDPs, which are defined to distribute the CRLs. Yeah, CDP extensions are checked in order. Typically, there are three location types that can be configured: HTTP, UNC, and LDAP. Similar to the previous one, decide on your CDPs, URLs for each of the CA, issuing CA, and so on. Next is the Online Certificate Status Protocol, OCSP. which allow the timelier and more structured determination of the revocation status to specify certificate. So the speed and availability, rather than have the client download the entire certificate revocation list that contain all the certificates revoked by the CA, a client send a revocation status request to the responder server, and the responder will basically give an update based on the query. Similar, we need the OCSP URLs location. Next is security. The security offered to the CA component and the CA computers and the virtual host will be at least that extended to the organization domain controller and will include physical security, control logical security, and the maintenance procedure. The security control implement will be proportional to the amount of trust placed in the CA. The root CA, as a higher trusted element of the entire PKI, will implement stricter security control, optionally include hardware security module, HSM, with K or N separation of duty, as well as offline operation where the issue CA will require less stringent or control in place. Table similar to the previous one. Cryptographic key security, HSM card set configuration, either using file, HSM, or software, and the configuration will be admin and operator. Again, segregate of duty with K of N quorums. Same thing, applicable to the issuing certificate. Then we move to the templates. Certificate templates are used to define the format and the content of the certificate that are issued. This includes which user computer can enroll to which certificate, association of the access control list. The certificate templates are defined in AD and valid throughout the forest and the issuing certificate. For each certificate template, the permissions are defined in AD and valid throughout the forest. For the certificate template, we must define the request method, enrollment, and the auto enrollment, custom script, cert request, MMC, request permission, and so on. Yeah, all of these need to be defined for each template. Again, template for the certificate template table. You put the example like workstation, users, type, how long the certificate valid for, issuing certificate, which domain, and relationship, and you can apply the permissions. Another table for the auto enrollment for the workstations, and that will help you to decide on how and which. That's all what I had for you for today. Hopefully, we will continue with the next. We have covered the, architecture decision requirement for the system. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.